Hello, everyone. Welcome to The Beast Wilds presents episode 6 of The Way Forward. This is a D&D actual play, almost forgot the word there for a second, based in my own personal D&D campaign setting, The Beast Wilds. And my name is Beast. That's why I named it that. So, we're going to do a quick round of introductions to everyone. And before I do, I just want to lay out the stream guidelines, which are short and sweet. Don't be a turd. That goes to everyone, whether you're watching, playing, or not even participating, but thinking about it somewhere else and you'll find out later. Don't be a turd. All right. We have 3 players with us today. Ace, who is playing Apollo, is sitting out today. We miss him very much, and we can't wait to see him back. But we're going to have as much fun as we can, starting off with Bonus Dad. Tell us who you are and who you'll be playing tonight.
Hello, everyone. I am Bonus Dad. That's how I'm known here. And I am playing Nail, who is his whole name is Karik Nailo, goes by Nail, and he is a Greyhawk Valley High Elf, and kind of strange for a High Elf. He is a rogue, and he's just sort of a slippery, stealthy kind of a guy, and he has a. Doesn't say much about his background. But I can tell you that he has there's some shady parts of it. That's all I got.
Awesome. Well, let's hope his slipperiness keeps him alive in this episode. As mentioned previously, Ace is away, and I'm not good enough to figure out how to put a giant red X over his face. So, moving on to Zenobia. Tell us, please introduce yourself and tell us who you are and who you'll be playing tonight.
So, I am Zenobia, and tonight I will be playing Catalina, who honestly wishes she was Fiona from Shrek, but she is not, so.
Don't we all, in our own secret way. Up next, Pixel. Who are you and who will you be playing?
Hello, everyone. My name is Pixel, and I will be playing Everard Eldertingle, the reborn halfling sorcerer, and now captain of our little band of merry adventurers.
But how big is his hat?
Way too big. Comically big.
Delightfully big. And I am Beast. I will be your Dungeon Master, Game Master for tonight. And I will be making things up. So let's all clench our tables and chairs and hang on for the ride. Would anyone like to give us a quick recap of what happened last time?
Let's see what I have in my notes. We began the session by nominating Everard as captain. They also are choosing to nominate Sam Asborellian as the new Postmaster General. Apollo suggested we take our supplies and make a container for them using his enlarging, reducing arrowheads to make it easier to carry the food and light supplies. And then we decided to investigate the Old Mercy, where we discovered a strange old wall filled with etchings and precious stones with a number of scenes on it. The first scene was 5 larger-than-life female figures in profile, facing to the right, holding hands in a chain with those in front of them. The colors of the women in the mural were silver, red, white, black, and gold. The silver woman was wearing a crown like a thin crescent moon and had a flute lute. Stop me if I get any of this wrong.
Sure.
The red one had 8 arms and was dancing with blades. The white figure in the middle had a pregnant belly, and the bottom half of the torso beneath the waist was a snake-like tail. The black figure was wearing a full-body veil, but a single clawed hand holding a staff, which was itself another arm clutching a crystal. And then the gold figure had a radiant circular afro halo, and in the palm of their hand they appear to be holding radiating magical light. So those are the figures in the scene. Let's see. They were in a number of scenes. They were standing.
You don't have to describe that.
Okay. There were a bunch of
That's
scenes.
fine. Yeah. The quick recap. So we
recap.
investigated some.
You investigated the thing. We found a hole full of acid that we chose not to go into. Apollo picked up one of the magic stones and had some sort of contact with a strange figure that is possibly related to one of his friends who also appeared to have contact with strange figures. The kobold healer he knew. Catalina tried to pry one of the crystals out of the wall, but put it back when it was trying to influence her mind. And then we set out. And we ran into an overturned wagon with a smelly, stagnant moat. And the warlord, Dib Halfling Chewer, had apparently taken over this wagon and was trying to shake people down. So we killed him and some of his friends and ran the rest of them off. And we found some stuff.
Yeah.
Some arrows of enlarging reducing, a bag of glitter worth 100 GP, an old gold ring, some old gold daggers, another old gold ring, 2 old gold spears. And then we started to repair the wagon before setting up camp. And that's the last thing I have.
Awesome. So we're going to kick it off with the most fun part, housekeeping. We're going to have to reduce our rations by 1 point for food and light. Synovia, give us our quartermaster's report. How's our team doing?
Not great. We have 1 unit of rations left and 1 torch left.
Oof. Okay. So we're about to be plunged into darkness unless we can secure some more sources of light. We have enough food to get our full bellies along the way into the next session, but who knows what happens after that. You all have made camp. You have this overturned wagon, which you have claimed as your new vehicle. And you were in the process of making camp so that the necessary repairs could be made to it, make it street legal, let's say. And that is where I would like to kick off. Around the campfire, Glemma and Knock Knock have prepared the evening stew. And you may all engage. Are there any conversations that folks would like to have, or would anyone like to describe what their character is doing?
Now that it's out that Everard has magic, he has the mending cantrip, so I think he's trying to help fix up the wagon by using mending on anything that is mendable.
Awesome. Yeah, so if you guys would like to mend the wagon, what I'm going to ask for is that everyone, we're going to do a skill challenge. I'll say with mending, I will reduce the amount you need to properly fix the wagon. You collectively need to get 40 points of anything. That, and I've reduced that down from 50 because you'll be using mending. So the 3 of you have a chance to assist, to do skill checks, whatever skill check you think is appropriate, whether that's, athletics to hammer the nails and or lift the wood and things that you need, whether that's sleight of hand to, successfully put things back into place. If you're proficient in any tool skills that you would like to use, now is the time to do it. For every 5 that you get below 40, it will make the wagon a little less sturdy and may incur penalties along the way. You know what? We'll just say this. If you get 5 below 40, we will add a flat day to your travel time for every 5 beneath 40 you get.
Okay.
All right. Well, I have literally nothing useful. I will be of, other than using mending, I will be of no, if we're only going by what I'm proficient in, I will be of no help whatsoever.
I think
So
I
good
could
luck,
be.
everyone.
I think I could be greatly helpful. I have proficiency in both land vehicles and woodcarver's tools, and I just rolled a nat 20.
All right, nat 20. I gotta honor the nat 20, so I'll call that a 25. All you need is 15 more, and we got 2 skill checks to make it.
Okay.
Oh, I have inspiration. Okay.
Yes, if anyone doesn't have inspiration, please take inspiration.
Is this
It's a skill check, yeah.
A skill check. Okay.
So look at your list of skills.
Yeah.
Pick one of the skills that Nail is trained in, something he has proficiency. If you think that he can use that in a way to help patch up the wagon, let me know. Roll and go ahead and roll your d20 and tell me what you get.
All right. Let's see. I am. I'm not sure if any of these would help. I'm. Proficient in sleight of hand, and
There we go.
with thieves' tools. I'm gonna burn one of my inspirations.
Do it.
That's
what they're there for.
That was a 2.
That is exactly when you burn an inspiration.
All right. We put that 20 in dice jail.
You know,
Well, that wasn't a whole lot better. That was 6 in my skill is 6, so that's a 12, I guess.
12. Okay. So with 25 from Catalina and 12 from Nail, we have 37. So Everard, I need a skill check that adds up to a final amount of at least 3 for you to suffer no penalties.
Okay. And it has to be a skill I'm proficient in, right?
Correct. It has to be a skill that Everard is proficient.
I'm going to read you the skills I'm proficient in, all right?
Do it.
Arcana.
Mm-hmm.
Deception.
Yes.
History.
Mm-hmm.
Investigation.
Sure.
Persuasion.
Of course.
Religion.
Yeah, why not?
And that's it. And that's it. So I think the only thing maybe I can do is investigation.
I'll say this.
Sort of like
if you're
there's
using mending, I think Arcana is acceptable.
All right. Well, I didn't want to quite go there, but sure, I'll take it. So I will use Arcana.
Don't roll a 1.
Okay, that is an 11 plus 2 is 13.
More than a 3.
Okay.
Fantastic.
Okay. And you have gone out of focus there, Pixel.
Oh, okay.
It's the
I apologize
the
if this is
corrupting
going to mess
influence
everybody
of
up,
magic.
but I have to turn my camera off and back on,
Okay,
so you
hold
might
on.
want to
I can
scoot this
fix
around
this.
again. Sorry.
Oh God, can I fix this?
You can scooch us around in... There you go. Yeah. Okay.
I did it. Okay.
Hey, we did it. Sorry. But yeah, I had to turn my camera off and back on to go back into focus.
Honestly, you look like what it looks like when I take my glasses off.
Same.
All right. Fair enough.
Look at all of us bespectacled.
Yeah, see what you
folk.
mean.
I can't even read my character sheet.
All right.
It reminds me of an old song about the quartermaster chorus. And one of the taglines says, "My eyes are dim, I cannot see. I have not brought my specs with me."
Bonus Dad, you just used your inspiration?
I used one of them. I had 2.
All right. Well, replace the one you just used. That was lovely.
Okay.
Awesome. So between our 8 pairs of eyes, we all see as Catalina, Nail, and Everard all pitch in while the cook pot is being stirred and things are being chopped up and chucked into it from the rations. Everard is like,
Oh yeah, I can do it if you want.
please, do you have a thing?
I do. Yeah, for mending, of course.
Awesome.
Darkness covers eyes that see, mend the rending that shadows see.
Wonderful. So this tiny, weird little dude is doing that all the while.
His eyes are full black, and he's just like holding his hands, and the wood is like knitting itself back together.
And right next to where that's happening, Nail is very carefully placing nails exactly where they're supposed to be and hammering them in.
Tap, tap, tap.
And then right next to that, Catalina has like a 2-handed sledge and is just whack, whack. And somehow, between these 3 seemingly mismatched efforts, a fully mended, beautifully restored wagon comes into focus. And as you all, approach the cook fire to sit down and wipe the sweat from your furrowed brows and enjoy a little bit of the heat and the light, Glemma and Knock Knock begin to serve up your repast, your rations. You each receive a bowl, and you all... actually, you know what? Everyone make perception checks. Let's do that.
I've been deeply humbled. That's an 8.
It smells great, Catalina.
Oh God.
Mine was an 8 minus 1. But I
It's
also
mouth-watering.
don't
Need to eat? So let me ask, is Everard eating?
I think now that it's out what his deal is, he doesn't feel it's appropriate for him to eat any of the rations because we don't have a lot of rations. If we had like excess rations, I think he would feel fine. But now that he's not trying to hide being dead anymore, he's like, well, it's not really... If not everyone else has enough food, I can easily go without with literally no problem, so...
Well, as all the food is being handed out, there is just sort of like a half portion at the bottom of the stew pot. Glemma scoops it up and puts it into a bowl, hands it to Knock Knock, and Knock Knock comes over to you and offers it to you. Would you like some?
And my roll was a 19, by the way.
Oh, wonderful. We'll get to that.
I think what Everard says, I guess if nobody else wants seconds, get back to me in a minute, maybe. I'll taste some. I want to make sure everyone else has their fill.
We have plenty. We have plenty. And Knock Knock sets the bowl.
Knock, knock, we specifically don't. Actually, we have one like today. This is all the food.
We'll get more.
We
soon.
won't have any more food.
We'll get more soon. He puts the bowl next to you just in case you feel like eating. Everyone knows where it is, including Everard. Niall with a 19. You notice that as the bowls of stew are getting doled out, Glemma is finishing them with just a couple slices of mushroom on the top. This is the purple mushroom with green polka dots that Everard found in the ruins at your last camp. It smells great. It got fried up, added to the stew. There's a nice little garnish, good meat substitute. They put it on top. But it smells like blood to you. Doesn't smell right.
Okay, so I'm going to do, let's see, what would be a good check to do for that?
Let's see, maybe nature or survival if you're trained in it. Otherwise, your perception check is probably about as close as you'll get to understanding that you've never seen this mushroom before.
Investigation.
Oh yeah, I'll take investigation.
All right. 18 plus 5 is 23.
Okay, yeah, with a 23 investigation, yeah, you have never seen this mushroom before. It looks suspiciously similar to another mushroom that you are very familiar with, which is called a swine freckle, which is a green mushroom with purple dots. This is a purple mushroom with green dots. So it seems like it would be easy to mistake. About the same size, about the same shape. And you know that swine freckle mushrooms, they're like truffles. They're really savory. They're very expensive. They're a luxury food.
Are there any other properties I know about that mushroom?
It's not magical or weird in any way. It's just a damn tasty mushroom. It's something that rich people would pay a lot of money to eat for themselves.
Okay, but since this mushroom smells like blood, I'm somewhat reluctant to try it.
Sure, yeah.
It doesn't smell good to me.
Yeah,
So I tell the others, this mushroom doesn't seem right to me. It has a funny smell.
it would be like someone eating sushi for the first time, right? It's just kind of, you're not used to it. You don't really know what's going on. You're just not gonna try.
Nope. If somebody wants to try it, have at it. But I think I'll pass.
Glemma and Knock Knock tuck into their bowls. Seemingly not afraid of putting down and keeping down a little mushroom. They've probably eaten worse in their lives. The captain smells it. Oh, that's great stuff right there. Sets the bowl down in their lap and digs into it. So does Squeefa and Meatbone. Oh boy, after a long day with no amputations, I really worked up an appetite. And they all just dig in. Catalina Everard, do you also eat your rations? I will say, if you don't eat your rations, you will have to make a check against exhaustion.
I will not, because I specifically
Don't
magically
have to.
do not actually have to eat. I'm sorry. I hate
Cat-
to contradict you,
yeah.
but part of being dead is it says I don't have to eat or breathe.
So
I think
Niall and Catalina, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think Catalina notices anything wrong with it at first. She's eaten worse, so she's gonna eat it.
All right. Yeah, Serena tucks into her bowl. Doesn't even give you a second look.
Okay, let me ask a question. Can the ration be eaten and the mushroom avoided?
Yeah, you can take the garnish off, but some of the mushroom was cooked into the stew. Short answer, no. You can try to pick around it, but it's in the food.
I'm willing to take the chance. Catalina has a 19 constitution.
So, bonus dad, is Nail going to tuck in and take the risks, or are we going to see him set aside his rations for tonight and see if he can subdue his empty stomach?
Okay. Seeing none of the others come to harm, Nail decides to go ahead and eat the ration.
You eat the rations. It is filling and warm and quite tasty. It's time for everyone now to just sort of bunk down for the night. You've had your food, you've done your work for the day. we'll do the watches. Are we doing the same watch rotation as we've established? Everard on first watch, Nail on second?
Sounds
That
good
works
to
for me.
Okay, great. So everyone, you bunk down for the night. You've, you've laid out your bedrolls. You've had your food. Do you let me know if you want to talk to anyone before you go to sleep tonight? And Everard, you'll be taking first watch.
Yeah, I think before everybody goes to bed, I think Everard just does a little, just a quick announcement. Just to let everyone know, I will be taking sign-ups for one-on-ones. I don't think that the prior administration of the Postmen really valued feedback from, further down the chain. But I've spent a lot of my life at the bottom of the pile, and I think it probably we could benefit from some perspective from everybody. So but there'll be a sheet in the wagon. Just pick a time. I'd like to sort of give you an opportunity to voice your ideas about how things are going with the whole journey and the ideas for revisions to the handbook, and from your perspective, things that could maybe improve the functioning of the organization as a whole.
Serena elbows Catalina. Oh, I'm going to be the first to sign up. That way, if I say something stupid, he would have already forgotten about it. And she skips off, and as soon as you put that paper down in the wagon, she's signing it.
Honestly, so concerned about what she's gonna do.
Does anyone else want to put their name on the list for one-on-ones with Everard?
I think I'll go after Serena. Just like follow her up and be like, yeah, I'll go later. I'll go after. So that if she does say anything stupid, I'm right there to correct it.
Wonderful.
And I'll go after Catalina.
Sure. Everyone else in turn signs up, except for Captain Granolthy. What, Everard, did you want to do any of those before night or before bedtime?
I mean, I think I would leave it. I guess there would be slots open if anyone wanted to jump on it that quickly. I think Everard mostly expects people to want to think it. To consider what they want to say.
Gotcha.
But if anyone is just desperate to jump in there, I guess there would be like a bracketed optional time slot for before, after dinner before bed.
All right. I think then what we'll do is we'll sort of handle those, tomorrow or later on after you guys have had a long rest. So you all go to sleep unless there was anything else folks wanted to do. All right. Everard, you are taking your watch. Describe to us. You've told us before that Everard is quite taken with his journal during his watch. Is there anything else he's doing? Anything else he's up to?
I think, yeah. I mean, he's always kind of writing in the journal. So I do think that is the predominant thing that he's doing. He might be investigating some of the various, items that they've picked up along their travels now, like the rings, his, just the various items. And I think he's considering how he's basically walking around at this point with what amounts to a death sentence from not that he already had one, right? But he's walking around with enough magic that it would just be instant death sentence from the censor kind of thing, So he's just sort of thinking about all that.
Sure. So, one of the items that you're inspecting is the Amulet of Premonitions.
Yes.
This was the item given to you uh, even before you ever joined the Postmen in exchange with a Gilder gentleman who was about to go into the Colosseum. And so we can expect that that person did not make it. But that the Amulet of Premonitions that was given to you is genuine magic. Would you like to roll that divination while you inspect the amulet?
Yeah. That's a 16.
Wonderful. Yeah, record that. Keep that in your back pocket. The Amulet of Premonitions allows Everard to roll a single divination roll once per session. Basically, he rolls a d20. Whatever he gets, he can save for a moment when he believes that he wants to replace any d20 roll with that number. So a 16 is really good, means that if Everard saw this in the future and one of you aren't able to make a successful roll, he might be able to see how you can. And a very funny thing happens as everyone begins to fall asleep and you hear the soft snoring, the wheezing of air in and out of nostrils. There's a whisper coming from that amulet. And as you stare deeper into it, this sort of cloudy gem begins to ripple on the inside, and you feel yourself almost sucked into it. Everard, when you open your eyes, you find yourself standing on a narrow and winding walkway carved from solid stone cliff face. You've been here before, and this is a memory. You're looking down the sheer drop to a misty river valley below. A voice comes from behind you. She wanted to hurt us. Will there be others? You recognize this as the system for assisted magic.
Sorry, she wanted to hurt us. What was the other thing?
Will there be others?
Ah. Okay. Do I, as I look around a little bit, do I see myself, or am I just standing in the place where I was?
You are there. It's you don't see yourself. You're not disconnected from it. You are inside your own memory from your own point of view.
Okay. And as I look down at myself, do I look dead or alive?
Your skin looks pink and flush with blood.
Weird. And I suppose I sense that he's waiting for a response.
Yes.
So I say, I suppose that depends on the timeline in question. In the next, couple of minutes and hours, no. On a longer time scale, days, weeks, months, very likely.
Are you mad at me?
No. It's a little frightening, but I've always been smaller than everything else, so that's not particularly new.
She gave us no choice. And your vision drifts down back to that river valley far down the sheer cliff face, where as the mists from the coursing water part, you can just see the faint outline of your former boss, Garliathi Gurlith of the Censor Antiquarian. What should I do now?
Well, you should probably get away from here because the censor antiquarian had intelligence that indicated that there was some sort of magical artifact here. Turned out to be you. And they are pretty hell bent on controlling magic. So if you exist and are outside of their control, they see that as a problem. So I would say get away from here, stay out of the Pentarchy. Um, Generally speaking.
There's a growing light behind you, as if gathering of energy. You're still looking down into the misty river, but you hear Sam reach into its core, and it disengages something from within. And you feel the construct hand slip something into your pack that you're wearing on your back. And that hand lightly rests on your shoulder with wooden and metal fingertips. I will go. You have shown me true kindness. I hope that I haven't gotten you in trouble. I gave you something. I think it's better that it and I are not together. Goodbye. And as it begins to back off, as Sam begins to back off, do you try to turn and look at him? Do you break away from looking down at the dead body of Garliathy?
Yeah, I think I would turn and look at Sam.
So, as you turn, Sam is not there, but just out of the corner of your vision, you see a shadow. When you try to track it to the side, it seems to know exactly what you can see, and it floats away, fluttering aside each time you adjust your sight, staying just out of vision. You're only able to make out that this is a presence that's seemingly made of layered shadows or sheets of darkness obscuring an otherwise incredibly powerful arcane essence. It is intentionally dampening itself to avoid being noticed. But there's that hair on the back of your neck feeling. This isn't a memory. And in classic Frodo zoom in on the hand, you dig that thing out of the pack that Sam had given to you, and you are holding the first gold ring. You feel that tickle where you've stashed it. And you know that this is the ring that you still have.
Yeah. So I guess I heft it in my hand and also check. Is it in both places right now?
You can feel it, but it's not there in your memory. It's in your hand in your memory. It seems to exist in both places at once. There's sort of a low that you think you might hear, and one whisper begins to separate itself out from the others. Do you believe in fate?
Uh, I don't know.
You must know we do not need beliefs, for we know we are fate. We seek to possess the memory of all things. You have purged the stinking lifeblood, the inner sunlight which drives the common to their inevitable end, to rot or restlessness. But you, bloodless one, you exist now as a shadow, a memory, unseen by blood-soaked devils or hungering predators. This makes you valuable in ways you do not yet understand. I seek to assist you in your journey to bloodlessness, to infinity, to remembrance. I give you this, a taste of my affection. Use it well. And a chorus of wailing screams erupts from all directions. As Everard, you close your eyes, you try to stuff your ears, you crush yourself into a ball from the intensity of it to try and shield yourself. And when you open your eyes, you're sitting back at camp. Except the page of your journal is covered with writing that you do not recognize. And as you study it a little further, the lines actually seem to wiggle and change into different words, eventually settling into a powerful incantation. You have been given a scroll of protection from good and evil.
Sorry, I'm finishing my notes.
I am sending that a link to you, so you have that. Bam. There you go. It is almost time for Everard's watch to end. Although that memory seemed to last minutes, maybe an hour, more time has passed in the real world. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's extremely weird. And he sort of once again checks over the ring and the amulet of premonitions. Is there anything different about either of those things?
The amulet of premonitions is the gemstone is now a solid color, fully opaque, and seemingly doesn't even reflect the firelight from the campfire.
Okay.
So it is at the end of your watch. Is there anything else that Everard would like to do before he wakes up Nail?
No, I don't think so. I mean, he writes, in the other pages of his journal, recounts that encounter to himself, basically. But as he often does, he writes it in one of the many languages he speaks that not many other people speak. So,
Dope.
but no, then he wakes up Nail.
Nail. as you are meditating prior to your watch, what do you think Nail experiences during his meditation? Is he in like a Matrix style, like floating white space? Is he just fully unconscious, or does he go somewhere in his mind?
It depends uh, on what he's experienced in the recent past, and sometimes in the far past. He is, after all, 153 years old, so he's got a lot of experience behind him.
A lot to process.
But in general, it's just a sort of a blank trance, so that his brain rests and the rest of his body, his heart, goes into sort of a stasis state that helps his body regenerate or recover, much as a human would sleep, but doesn't take as long. Sometimes thoughts flow through his mind, and sometimes he engages in a reverie of some of his memories.
In this particular moment, you find yourself remembering the night of the Silver Sun. Nail, this was the night that you won your freedom from the Thieves Guild with your daring theft of the ring of House Crotchkiss. The silver ring with the sapphire gem that you are wearing on your finger at this very moment. And as that memory solidifies in your mind, your vision becomes clearer in your mind's eye, and Nail finds himself standing in the highest room of the tallest tower of Castle Crotchkiss. He's looking down at a red satin pillow, which is on top of a pedestal display, and you are looking at the ring that is on your finger, but it's not on your finger. It's sitting there on the pillow. Something's wrong, though. That sapphire that you know is in that ring is replaced with a blue flame with a white silver center. It's about the size of a candle flame. And it's still, undisturbed. And then, almost all of a sudden, you hear a rising howl, the baying of beasts and monsters, a symphony of rotting talons scraping their way up the exterior of the tower wall. Suddenly, the flame flickers as if caught by a wind, and you turn and you see the window that you had infiltrated to pull off this daring theft. The glass panes that you had carefully removed and stacked discreetly under the windowsill. And appearing now through the portal, rancid flesh, oily claws, the color of blackened blood. A distended arm shoots through the window and grabs onto the other side and begins to drag a creature's head into view. A dog-like snout splits open, wordlessly revealing an elastic maw filled with a carpet of teeth-like splinters of bone. Its violent purpose is very clear and wordlessly written across every inch of this creature's decaying composite body. You begin to, the wails begin to drown out any thought that you can have. You look back at that ring on the satin pillow, and the flame has grown larger now, about the size of a fist. You look back to the window. The creature begins to pull the rest of its body in through the window, cackling with a sickening wet chuckle What does Nail do?
Nail picks up the ring, slips it onto his finger, points the stone toward the monster coming through the window.
It's making this horrible, gooey rattling sound in its throat. And somewhere behind it, you hear other teeth gnashing, wet chewing sounds. The disgusting accompaniment of a chorus of other beasts. And what happens as you point that ring toward the window? The flame begins to distend, and it listens to your desires. What does Nail desire in this moment?
Nail desires this monster to go away. So he's hoping that this ring, with the flame protruding from it at this point, serves as a weapon to accomplish that end. And because that's the window he came in, he doesn't want to go down through the castle, although he is probably thoroughly capable of doing that because of his stealth. But he would prefer to go back from the way he came.
As you channel your will into that ring, Nail just issues the single request: keep me safe, kill this monster, remove it from existence. And in the snap, in a blink of an eye, a pure beam of blue-white fire sprays through the window, pushes the creature out, and it begins to char the stone of the tower. And then you see it, more claws, and more claws, and more claws. And the ring shrinks into itself once again and hardens into the sapphire that you know it to be. And you are shaken awake by Everard.
Whoa, little buddy, thank you. I was having a bad dream.
Oh, really? I didn't know I was dreamed at all. Fascinating.
Don't flatter yourself. It wasn't about you.
All right, damn. Shots fired. You're up for watch.
Oh, okay. Thank you. I have the con, Captain.
I'm gonna go stare aimlessly into the dark sky because I don't sleep anymore.
You can still pretend.
Niall says, "Have a nice stare."
Yeah.
And as you two trade off services of Night Watch, Nail, you probably notice just a little bit of whimpering from some of the other sleeping team, assuming that they probably all are just a little overtired and need their rest. You focus on your responsibilities as watchmen. But Catalina, as you sleep, you begin to have another dream similar to the others. Maybe. Catalina, you open your eyes and you are standing on the red clay earth of your tribe's homeland. You smell the hot, dry air. You can taste the clay and the dust. And looking out over a red valley, you see the flocks of grazing sheep that your tribe keeps. It's a beautiful pastoral scene, and just on the horizon, the dawn is breaking. a thin, needle-like line of light just bleeding over the edge of the world. You hear footsteps come up behind you, and an arm comes across your back and onto your shoulder. It pulls you in, gives you a big warm hug, and you recognize the smell and feel of your mother. She's holding you in a mother's embrace, you know, her cheek on the top of your head as you both look out over the dawn of a new day, a beautiful promise. And then you nestle in just a little deeper, and maybe you bit your cheek. You're not sure. Taste of blood in the back of your mouth. And then you feel another hand settle onto your back, and another begin to stroke your hair, and another, and another. And you hear a twisted parody of your mother's voice. You've got such big things to do. You bring light into people's lives. Do you love what you do, Catalina? Do you? Do you love bringing light into their lives?
Yes.
Oh, that's great. You feel the many hands continue to soothe you. Oh, that's all I've ever wanted you to do. I know I've been hard. I've been nice too, haven't I?
Yeah, I can't deny that.
Oh, good. I'm glad you agree. And, you know, I wanted to do something nice for you again. I wanted to teach you something. You know, something I never really got to teach you, because you left so soon. But you're back now, and I can teach you everything you need to know about bringing light back into the world. Do you want to learn? Are you ready?
I feel like Catalina is more stuck on the fact that she is back home. Like, yeah, the multiple arms is weird. That's but if you've ever had a dream about your, like, somebody that's actually in your life, something's always going to be off about it, right? But she's more concerned about, like, what do you mean I'm back home? She didn't leave because of her issues with her parents. She left because she was bored, which most young people do. It's like, I've been in the same place for forever. I want to go somewhere else. And I feel like that's what makes her step away and, like, turn around. Like, what do you mean I'm back home? I didn't have any plans to come back here.
You feel several pairs of hands clutch at Catalina's head and physically turn it to face the dawn, the sliver of light on the horizon that, despite no matter how long Catalina looks at it, never gets brighter. And you can't look away. You're being held there by many powerful arms. Now just watch. I've seen you do it before, but if I can show you the right way, I think you'll be ready. You need to do the dance properly. If you hold the blades firmly in all of your hands, that is how the dance is done. And we see Catalina's vision zoom in like 1,000 times down the valley until you almost feel like you're 20 feet away from a flock of sheep. And the sheep are just milling about, standing still. And then from the center of the sheep, one of the sheep begins to split across the back. And the wool begins to distend, and its fleece cracks open, and a figure emerges like a flower opening to greet the dawn. Completely covered in blood, all meaningful, identifying features are just caked with a thick layer of blood. Almost like this is just a doll, a human-sized doll. And holding in each of their hands a pair of swords. And you watch as this figure begins to sway back and forth, flicking red blood across the backs of the sheep. And then suddenly lashes out and spins. They bring up one foot and they whip it around, and it causes them to turn like a top with arms outstretched as they cut across the flock of sheep. And they strike down one after another, blood slicing off in waves.
Do I have a weapon on me?
Your hands are being held in your mother's embrace against your body. And you do not have weapons in them. As Catalina struggles to move, to look away, fingers holding her eyes open so that she can't blink, you watch the dancer finish the dance and slowly melt into the ground, the red earth just getting a little bit darker, and a circle of sheep dead. Don't you see? The dance of blades. It's the way we greet the dawn. There's no light in their lives because they've forgotten the proper way to praise. We can't bring back the light until you are praising correctly. You can't bring back the light until you praise me.
I will say, pretending to be my mom, very, very smart. I'm wholly desperate for her approval. Killing the livestock that supports my tribe, probably not the option to go with. There's one thing more important than praise, and it's your family. Those sheep support my family, so I can't support you.
You feel the arms almost like a boa constrictor, many pairs of arms just binding you ever tighter and ever tighter, and you're pulled into the bosom of this pretend mother of yours, blinded to everything else. And the voice calms down, resuming the parody of your mother's voice. Oh, sweetheart, we're not like them. They're the sheep. We're the dancers. You'll figure it out. I know you will. Do you love me?
I love my mother.
I can be her. I could be a better her than she could ever have been to you. And one of the pairs of hands loosens a little bit, stroking the back of your head. Is that what you want?
I feel like Catalina stops and thinks about it. Her mom, no parent is perfect. Her mom wasn't perfect. But a fake version of her mother, no matter how good it is not her mom. She'd rather deal with like the real flawed version of her mother than a perfect fake version of the same woman. It just feels different. The hugs feel different and have less arms.
You notice, or you can feel now as her grip is just loosening a little bit. Another pair of arms, the lowest pair of arms, releases you, and you feel two blades, one being put into each of your hands as your mother steps away from you. Oh, sweetie, don't you just look picture perfect? I can't wait to see you bring the light back.
How lucid is this dream?
Super wobbly. All of the distances are like fish-eye distended. It almost feels like every time you take a step, you're sucked back into place. Like you can't even leave. You can't create distance.
Can I change the blades? Do I like at least have control to change the blades that are in my hands?
Yeah, Catalina looks down. What is she holding in her hands?
She is holding two whips. She was never a good swordsman. Her mother knew that and stopped giving her blades for a reason. And I think she pulls one of the whips back and lashes at this fake version of her mother just to see what would happen.
You cut your mother across the face and body with the lash of the whip, and she does not flinch. But you notice that her smiling face, where you cut it, isn't flesh. It's cracked. Like porcelain. Like pottery. And it's frozen like that as you wake up.
I feel like Catalina, like when she wakes up, just kind of sits up and is like staring out into space. Like, what the hell was that?
Serena kicks you with a hoofed foot. Oi, some of us aren't done sleeping. I was having a crazy dream. And
You didn't agree to anything, right?
agree to anything? Oh, sure, I'll agree to anything, yeah. As she rolls over and goes back to sleep, leaving you feeling lonely. As you all wake up to begin the next day at camp, everyone seems a little groggy, a little grumpy. Nail, as you were taking last watch, could you please give me a perception check? Oh, you are muted, bonus dad.
Yeah, that was a nat one.
Woo!
No.
Would you like to use
Yeah, let me use an inspiration.
Brutal. Bonus one was asking who else has inspiration. I didn't, but she gave it to me. I don't know where everyone else is at. I mean, I guess Dad's
No, I
using
have-
his second one right now, so.
I don't have inspiration. Oh, so nobody cares?
You don't need inspiration.
You can't help anyone else.
Oh, muted bonus dad.
That's a 16 plus 3, 19.
19, way better than a 1. Nail, you hear the clanking of heavy regal armor and the stomping of several feet. It's real dark out there, so you're not really able to make out who is there. But you can see some shadowy figures which are beginning to stomp up the hill towards your campsite from the old post road.
Okay.
Yeah. Does Nail raise an alarm of any sort?
Yeah, I rouse the rest of the camp and say, we have visitors. And I don't know who they are, so be ready for anything.
Yeah, Nail goes around kicking anyone who wasn't quite awake. Does anyone take any precautions? Anything y'all want to do?
I think Catalina pulls a Serena move where she just like pulls her shirt down a little bit, so like the neckline is way lower than it was before. Like, I don't know who's coming.
Better be prepared. All right. Anyone else?
Yes. I am going to cast. Real quick, let me take a long rest.
Okay.
I am going to cast False Life on myself for the extra 10 hit points.
Ooh.
So, once again,
Shadows feel the dying heart. Shadows now, my false life start.
and he begins to look
Amazing.
more alive again. Burns that first level spell slot. And gets 8 temporary hit points. That's a max chunky boy. Worth of hit
Yeah,
points.
you. Anyone who bothers to look at Everard sees a pale-skinned, rosy-faced halfling with a full head of slightly wavy hair, like just in the purest health.
Okay, and Nail has a hand crossbow, which he just sort of holds down by his side, but it's cocked and loaded.
Wonderful. Clank, 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 stomp, clank, clunk. As the figures begin to approach the camp and make their way into that sort of 120 foot of dim light from your campfire, you can tell that they are wearing the uniforms and armor of the Censor Antiquarian. They immediately recognize all of your postman uniforms and approach without any caution or hesitation. There is an individual leading the front with 4 behind, and that individual, a half-elven gentleman, announces himself as he gets within about 20-30 feet of everyone. I am Tycho Harbavian, censor of the Censor Antiquarian. We received a tip that an unregistered group of individuals have been trading items of unknown provenance with suspected magical qualities. Several such items have been acquired in the nearby hamlet of Dusty Springs. We believe they are originating from this location. Now tell me, Postman, are you passing through recently, or have you been here for some time?
Usually I would let the captain speak, but we've been here for what? A night? I think.
Silence! I shall conduct my business with the captain and the captain exclusively. And they look at Nail. Now,
Don't look at me.
okay, looks down at Granolthy, who is seated next to you. Captain? Not quite. The little guy. Looks over at Squeefa. Captain? No, the other little guy. looks at Knock Knock. You can't be serious. Who's in charge here?
I mean, Your Excellency, I'm wearing the big hat, so...
Oh my goodness, it speaks.
I speak to him in Elvish and say, it certainly does.
The Wetland. And you guys have a brief formal exchange where you introduce each other in Elvish, which anyone who speaks Elvish would understand is just like a very casual, I am so-and-so of so-and-so, and these are my people, you know, where are you from, where are your people, are you well, blah, blah, blah. Well then, pardon my previous brusqueness. As you must understand, I am on a mission most urgent. We have noticed the infiltration of objects of potential magical qualities. An individual has acquired such at the local hamlet Dusty Springs, about a day's travel hence. We were told that they were acquired from a peculiar dealer who inhabited a fortification. As such, we have come across no such things. Unfortunately, you are the first individuals we have found on these roads, these back roads, as it were. So, Captain, have you noticed any suspicious magical activity in the area?
Well, sir, I'm just a lowly postman. I'm not sure that I'd recognize magic if I even saw it. But there was I maybe
Yes,
recognized
also.
the idea of a strange fortification. There was an overturned wagon just up the road a ways, that was inhabited by some kind of strange goblins. They attempted to impede our good duty tending to the post roads and attempted to act as bandits. And so we responded and slew many of them. I believe some fled into their surrounding territory before we could exterminate them. As our, some of our, the wagon with which we set out from Jafrune City befell to some issues as we were attempting to travel via the ferry around the creek. And so we did commandeer the remainder of their wagon. But if they had any strange magical items, they didn't use them on us, and as far as I can tell, so they may still have them as they ran off into the surrounding wilderness. But the fortification is we've fixed it up and are using it. That's our wagon now.
I see. So you believe that the individuals suspected of dealing these unknown items have fled into the nearby surrounding area and are summarily left to die of exposure.
I suppose they don't seem particularly well organized or equipped, and without their fortification, I suppose it's possible they could find some way to survive, but I also don't know this, with the roads being as they are, that it makes a whole lot of sense to attempt to track them down one by one. Seems sort of a fool's errand.
Yes, and without horses to carry us. Quite distressing. Well then, I shall order my men to search the nearby woods and the surrounding area while I take advantage of your hospitality. I am hereby issuing Memorandum 414, invoking my right as Censor Antiquarian to commandeer your team for my personal purposes. Are you in accordance, Captain?
Yeah, so just briefly, I guess I'll look. How many people do they have?
He's got 6 people. What did I say? 6 or 4 people behind him.
I do not recall.
I think I said four. Four, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. There were 5 of them. So he's got 4 henchmen, right? And oh goodness. He's got 4 henchmen behind him, and he basically does this, and they split off in 4 separate directions. They walk down the hill from where you have made your camp, and basically just start like waving their hands around. And you see they're each wearing rings on their gloved hands that are sort of flashing, strobing, like they're trying to sense out a trail or something. And they very quickly disappear sort of out of sight into the darkness. And you are left with Captain Tycho Harbavian, who sees the bowl of food that Everard didn't eat. Do you mind? I could use just a quick refreshment.
Certainly. Okay, so Everard is intimately familiar with censor antiquarians.
Mm-hmm.
Given his more recent martial experience, how would I assess the combat capability of any given censor? Like, if I'm just comparing this to the lady that I followed around that Sam pushed off a cliff,
Mm-hmm.
and other experiences with the censor antiquarians, like, he's just sent off all of his dudes. He's alone with us in the camp.
Yeah,
Do
yeah.
I think he can take us, or is he like a sitting duck here?
Hooked onto his belt are like 5 or 6 different little baubles and things. Some of them are made of old gold. Others are kind of like glittering or glowing with arcane energy. This guy is carrying a bunch of magic stuff of sort of indeterminate effectiveness. His armor is made of old gold, so you understand that harming him could be very difficult.
Okay.
So what's his belt made of?
Leather belt, thick leather, sort of a garter belt.
Nayu stealthily somehow winds up behind Tycho and just sort of shows Everard his dagger.
Mm-hmm.
And Everard knows that if Nayu grabs that belt one quick, and he's got the belt and the magical items too, unless the belt's too thick to do that.
I think you could pull it off, as your dagger is made of old gold.
Yeah.
That's right. It's a +1 magic dagger.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think Everard sees no possible benefit to any of. Okay, so one more question before things get out of hand.
Sure.
So this guy decked out in magic, a bunch of old gold, right?
Yes.
Underlings, where are they at?
They
Same thing or not as good?
not
or
as not as good.
Okay.
They're wearing like chainmail. It's not made of old gold. They're heavies. They're thugs. He is censor antiquarian. He has a bunch of magical items. They did not. They were just sort of men at arms.
Okay, yeah. I guess as you hold up the dagger, Everard sort of just glances over to Catalina and kind of like raises an eyebrow, just sort of like looking for confirmation that you're interested in popping off if things pop off.
Oh, yeah. I feel like Catalina sees the like raised eyebrow and walks over. And this would have been a joke that I was planning on making anyway, but I feel like this could be a great distraction. Where I walk over and I'm just like, just so you know, if he's commandeering us for personal use, me and Serena usually have contracts for that separate from like this whole Postman stuff. So he would have to sign those first, and we do get paid from those. So if he's willing to cough up the coin, sure.
A little moonlighting, perhaps. Okay.
Yeah, and then I guess Everard just sort of, you know, looks at Nail and just kind of shrugs, sort of giving a if you want to feel free kind of a like all right.
I have a
Okay.
mock-up contract in my hand to distract this guy just in case.
And
So with his stealth and sleight of hand,
would
he-
you how would you like to have a 16 on that? With that, where would a 16 get you with your bonuses?
you talking to me or you talking to
Yeah,
Catalina?
because I have that divination roll. I have a magical item that basically allows me to roll a d20 in advance and substitute
replace
the,
it,
the
yeah.
the die for something. And so, if you'd like to just take a 16 and add your bonus, I'm willing to give it to you. But if you want to roll, you can too. So,
I'll roll.
okay, I'll hold
So
on
I'm-
to the
It
16.
can
This is
always
a-
get replaced if it's a bad roll, so that's not a problem, right?
Right. So what is my attack bonus for a magic dagger? Or is this a skill check?
I guess this will be sleight of hand. So whatever your sleight of hand bonus is, that's what you'll
Okay.
add.
All right.
That's probably like a good +5 or +6, right?
Yeah, I'll take the 16.
All right, the 16 is spent. Let it.
Don't you
decide.
get
All right.
advantage?
And we're
If
going
I
to
help?
add 6 to that.
That's true. You
So
do
when
get
you're-
advantage if you wanted to roll again just to see if you crit bonus dad.
All right.
Put my 16 back
Hey,
for now.
That's a 9 plus 6 would be 15.
Okay, why don't I give you the 16 and
Okay.
you'll add the 6 to that. So I'll use the premonition
So that's
roll
22.
for the day.
So,
All Thank you.
Tycho
So
is
now I've got the belt in my hand.
Tycho's smelling this bowl of mushroom stew. Oh, it's that swine freckle. How delightful. I didn't know Postmen could afford such fare. Oh, what's this? A contract? Oh, yes. Yes, well, let's get the deed done. What are your rates, sweetheart? And as he leans forward, very clearly staring at Catalina's plunging neckline. And
Oh, I just call Serena over, and it's just the two of us, like talking over this guy while he's reading over the contract. Like
No.
we know how to swindle people.
no, I'm telling you, you want the 2-for-1. If you do it separately, you're losing value. And what does a scrivener always say? That money saved is value earned. Isn't that right, Catalina?
Of course, of course.
You got to go for the BOGO.
Well, and I don't mean to insinuate anything, sir, but I've seen the contract, and you do still have to pay for the refactory period. So, if you do it separately, you kind of lose on both ends.
There's many compelling arguments, I'm surprised to say, genuinely. Oh, that tastes quite strange. Oh, well, yes, of course, signatures! And he snaps his fingers and a quill appears in his hand and he signs both of the contracts. Now, payment afterwards? Yes?
Half of it before, half of it after.
Oh, you drive a hard bargain.
Oh, you're gonna make him reach for his belt.
He
Am I?
he reaches
Yeah.
down.
He goes.
He reaches down for his coin purse,
I mean, I can certainly understand where you're coming from.
which is now behind him. Nail holding up his whole belt.
I completely forgot that it was on his thing. I thought it was his magic item.
She was so focused, gotta get the money. Gotta get that money off this loser.
His money.
And it's right about that time that you hear the first screams.
I was trying to get us good food.
What was that?
Okay, we hear screams are from where his men went, or
Yes.
from him. Oh God. Oh boy.
And
Okay.
he is momentarily distracted from looking for his coin purse as he stands up and looks in the direction of the scream. Which one was that? And then you hear another scream coming from another direction. I'd like you all to roll initiative.
Oh boy. Good thing I cast that false life spell.
Now, with the most powerful potential ally in your camp disarmed completely of all of his magical items, you hear from 4 distinct directions off in the darkness the screams of dying men.
Okay, I'm gonna use my chat inspiration. That was in that one.
So hit me with your initiative when you got him.
Well, that was a
I got
5
a 19.
all day.
19, 5,
Nail got a 10.
10. Right in the middle. Look at that. Okay. So, as Tycho stands up, you hear screams coming from all directions as each of his men are seemingly attacked in the darkness. From just in the corner of the firelight, Nail, as you scan down the hill, you start to see the tall grass begin to shake, and a mound of it is shaking up the hill towards you. Many scrabbling things are coming, and you have all been alerted with enough time to take up positions.
Okay, and Nail taps Tycho on the shoulder and says, I believe you dropped this.
Oh, good heavens, thank you. And he grabs his belt. He tries to put it back. Oh, this blasted thing. I'll have a word to my farrier for sure. And as he's fiddling with that, Catalina, you are the first to react. You all begin to see from every direction things slithering up the hill through the tall grass to you. You can tell that they're small. The firelight reaches dim down to about 120 feet, which is where they are just beginning to enter. Why is this not? Oop, let's see. Play. I gotta get this thing just on friggin'. Alright, sorry. Totally killing the vibe. There we go. Okay. So, many slithering things are approaching in the tall grass up the hill towards you. They are about a turn away from getting up to you guys. Catalina, you are the first to react.
Is Saucy near me?
Yes, Saucy has woken up and is dutifully by your side as Lil Saucy.
All right. I'm just gonna be like Saucy more and have Saucy be horse size.
Saucy the wolf grows to the size of a horse, shaking out its massive maned fur, and it takes up a defensive position next to you.
All right, and then I am, just because it has more reach, I'm going to pull out the spear that I have with the new spearhead, and I'm just going to ready in action. Anything that gets within 20 feet of me is immediately getting stabbed.
Glemma picks up another old gold spear and stands beside you with the spear planted to form a kind of a screen on the outskirts of the camp. Anything else from Catalina?
No, I think I'm just going to ready the action. I don't have any cool bonus actions right now.
All right.
So
Nail, you are next to react. What does Nail do?
Nail ready's firebolt. It has a range
Wonderful.
of 120 feet, so
You see the slithering things coming. They are effectively prone, like you guys were. So you're going to have disadvantage on the attack, but you can attack them now. Until they stand up and make themselves known, you won't. You'll have disadvantage on any ranged attacks against them. Kind of sucks having your own tactics used against you, doesn't it?
You're just salty. The environment down here is all salt. It's salt's in the air. The ground is salt. The floor is salt.
So, does Nail want to attempt to shoot at the things as they're coming, or wait until he can see the whites of their eyes?
I
eyes.
think I'll wait till they see the whites of their eyes.
All right. So, Nail, you ready your action. Everard, you are next to act.
Yeah, so, he says, hey, Tycho, here's the deal, Buzz. If you want to live through this, you're going to have to ignore some shit. And if you don't, we're definitely going to let him kill you.
I will pay no mind to latrines in this moment. My life is at stake.
Okay. He appears to completely miss the point, but that's fine. Let's see. I cast False Life on myself. I am going to. I mean, everyone else is doing it, so I'm gonna ready. I guess Chill Touch for,
Okay.
and I'm gonna do the same thing as Nail whenever they get close enough to be standing up and being dealt with.
Okay.
Pop that off.
Serena goes and hides in the wagon with Captain Gurlith and Squeefa. Glemma and Knock Knock have taken up spears next to Catalina, with Saucy nearby as well. Everard and Nail, you're both sort of standing a little bit further back up the hill, with arcane power at your fingertips. And I need everyone, please, to make a perception check.
We have the high ground. I say, and then I immediately roll a 3 on my die.
Don't get your hands cut
Don't
off.
try it, Anakin.
10.
That's a 7.
Yeah, I got a 10.
Okay, 10 to 7.
11 minus 1 is 10.
Okay. Unfortunately, with the 10, everyone's running around. It just feels like maybe you lost track of someone. You're not sure. But at that moment, this mass of slithering bodies comes enough up into the firelight that you begin to see their spines are protruding out of the flesh rotten and black with sort of slick slime all across it. Splinters of bone fragments and things seem to be poking up out of the flesh like little knives all across their body. Nail, you feel a chill go down your body as you recognize the same types of creatures from your dream, your vision during your meditation. As one of them stands up from the grass and leaps through the air like a frog, about 30 feet at the waiting spears. So, Nail, if you'd like to give me your Firebolt, and Everard, if you'd like to give me your Chill Touch, the way that we're going to handle these creatures for now is they are a swarm. There are 10 of them. Every time you hit, you will kill one of them and reduce the size of the swarm. And the swarm will take as many attacks as there are creatures, and it will be spread out across all of you.
Okay. So I just fire it off, or do we need an attack roll?
You don't need a damage roll. Just give me the attack roll. If you hit, you will kill them. These are like minions.
All right, I'm burning my other inspiration.
Man, kind of wish you had a 16, huh?
I do. Okay.
So what? All right. What do I add to that?
12 from me, and it will be your spell attack bonus,
Yeah.
which is
Spell
going to be
attack. Oh, yeah.
proficiency plus intelligence modifier for you.
Which I think is
Okay, my
yeah.
spell attack bonus, I believe, is 4.
it's probably going to be like a 4 or 5. Yeah.
Shoot, I never can keep up with this.
Well, you're level 2, so your proficiency is +2. What is your intelligence modifier on the front of your sheet?
And Catalina, you and Glemma and Saucy, if you'd like to roll for Saucy,
3, so it's 5.
you can also take attacks as these things are just sort of like leaping one after the other at your offensive.
And describe them again. So is it like people with spines out their back? It's the monsters.
These are small creatures.
Okay.
They are monstrous abominations that seem to be made out of the mashed together pieces of other corpses.
Okay.
All right. Saucy got a 16 on the die. I don't know what
Yeah.
they would add to
Plus
that.
2. Which is
So
a hit.
That's and then I got an 18 with my spear.
Okay.
And I got a 20.
20.
A dirty 20.
Awesome. Okay, so that's 3 hits. What did Everard get?
12.
12. That's not a hit. Glemma holds her spear firm, and her Kenku companion stands on the butt to make sure that it's firmly planted as one of these things leaps right onto it, spears itself on the golden tip, and immediately begins to sizzle as steam escapes its chest, lashing out with claws made out of rotting bone. So that's 1, 2, 3. Saucy got a hit. Everard got a 12, which was a miss. 4 hits. 4 of these things are blasted, stabbed, or snapped in half as they leap at you. And Tycho, who is busy fumbling with his belt, is not going to take an action this turn. However, you will have 6 attacks coming at you from the remaining swarm. Ooh. So that is... Wow. Lucky you guys. 2 hits, 1 on Catalina and 1 on Everard. You each take 4 points of slashing damage.
Question.
Yes.
Now we at the beginning of this we had a long rest, so we were back to full health
Yes.
points, right?
So top up
Okay.
your health before you take any damage. Replace all of your spells before you reduce your spell slots, things like that.
Okay.
All right. Tycho's busy fumbling with his belt. Damn and blast! I know I should have gotten a replacement. As we are back to the top with Catalina. And Catalina, you suddenly realize Apollo's not here. And you look around. And you look over to where you remember him sleeping. And you see marks in the dirt where he never woke up. He's been dragged off the hill and into the darkness.
Oh, great.
Now you can all stay here to attempt to fight off the rest of these, or you can attempt to run after them now. I'll say that if you try to run after them now, you're going to leave your camp in a dangerous place. So you have 6 more of these little beasties to kill, and you know that Apollo has been taken. Catalina, is your turn. Nail will be up next. Catalina, or Sinovia, what does Catalina do?
I am gonna take 2 attacks because I have action surge. So I'm gonna. All right, that is a 17 to hit.
Hits. Yeah, you whoosh, or however you decide to kill one of
And the
them.
next one is a 26.
Hits. So describe what it's like as Catalina sort of revs up and strikes down 2 of these little beasties.
Um, I think she has just realized someone is missing, and four guys just got either eaten or whatever happened to them by these creatures. Um, and it's probably best that we go and find our friend as soon as possible. But also, we cannot leave our camp like this because we need it and rely on it for shelter and safety. So if we can knock as many of these guys down before we run off, that would be great. Um, if I just took out two, there's what, four
Four
left?
left.
Um, I'll have Saucy go at one of them.
Yeah, give me an attack roll for Saucy. And while you're doing that, is there anything else that Catalina wanted to do with her turn?
Um, no, that's my action, my bonus action. If Saucy can get one of these guys,
Yeah, give me.
I'm going to use my inspiration on Saucy.
Yeah, Saucy
Saucy's
has a
not
plus
roll.
2.
All right, that's a 17.
Hits. That's another one. Saucy catches one that was jumping at you, hoping to leap onto your back and claw you up, and he just and throws it down the hill, and you hear a sickening crunch as it sort of breaks in half.
And now that there's only three left, Catalina kind of hops on Saucy's back and is like, "There's three left. Apollo's gone. I think he's in the dark." And just starts. I'm gonna take either. Well, I'm on Saucy's back, so Saucy's movement to get as far down the hill as I can.
Yeah, Nail, you're up next. What
Right.
does Nail do?
Nail has, I can do sneak attack also because we're in melee range by now, right?
That's correct.
Okay. So I'm going to shoot one of these with my crossbow and quickly switch over to my rapier and slash another one.
All right.
And both those are 15 to hit. Both those hits are
Both
15.
those hit. Yeah, you pop one through his skull. It only has one eye. It just has an eye socket, and it pops through that eye socket. And the other one, as you catch your crossbow in your other hand and you draw your rapier, you perforate it, and so that's two more down. There is one of these things left. Everard, you see this lone little beastie as it's it's built up enough momentum now with all the rest of its friends that it hasn't realized that it needs to turn and run away. You have a chance to strike it down. What does Everard do?
As I sort of survey the situation, what do I understand about the darkness where Apollo was dragged? Are there presumably a bunch more of these things waiting out there? Do they all rush in?
Make a perception check.
Boy, here we go. I've been rolling it so badly tonight. That 116 on the portent roll was the one good roll I've had. Yeah, that's a 3.
It's loud, it's crazy. It's only been 6 seconds. You have no idea what's going on.
And what do I see Catalina and Saucy preparing to do?
Catalina has thrown herself up onto Saucy's back, and is whispering in Saucy's ear or yelling into Saucy's ear, commanding them to turn away from the fight and to go sort of behind you down the hill. And I think Catalina has probably shouted out that, they took Apollo or something like that.
Yeah. So in this scenario, I'm actually going to do something a little odd maybe. But Everard is going to try to shout through the din of battle at Catalina. Do you want me to protect you or Saucy?
Oh, that's a good choice. That's a good question. What's Saucy's AC?
14. Actually, I think as a horse size, I'll probably drop that down to like a 12.
All right. Probably Saucy. We need Saucy to pull the wagon.
Okay. So Everard really hates having to do this in front of this asshole. But he blinks, his eyes go black, and he pulls out his journal and reads from the page and says,
Shadows turn fang, claw, and blade. Shadows turn the tide of fate.
and casts protection from good and evil.
Oh man. Okay.
So I'm burning the scroll right away.
So let's see. Choose one of the following creature types: aberrations, celestials, elementals, fae, fiend, or undead.
Okay. I mean, so unless this is different than the normal spell, I think it actually is just protected against all of those.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, creatures of those types. Never mind. I thought it was, yeah. All right.
So
You're good.
so those have disadvantage on attack rolls against the target, and it can't be charmed, frightened, or possessed by them.
Awesome. Okay. So any attacks going against Saucy will have disadvantage. Which, you know, as long as Catalina is riding Saucy, it means that Catalina is basically protected behind a disadvantage wall, which is nice. Anything else from Everard as you speak this scroll?
I don't know what the future is gonna hold here, so I think I'm gonna use a bonus action to burn my 2 sorcery points to give me back a spell slot to just get back that first level spell slot that I spent on something else. And so he continues chanting,
Shadows flow in place of blood. Shadows power surge in flood.
And he gets his first level spell slot back that he used on False Life.
Amazing. Tycho is still fumbling with their belt, so they sort of notice that something magical is happening, but they pull a sort of softball-sized gold sphere from their belt, and they hold it up, and they go clunk, clunk, and a light begins to grow inside of the sphere as it warms up. Ooh. You all recognize this is the exact kind of thing, a radiant sphere, that you guys found on the pirate ship. Meatbone's hot lamp, it's the same thing. So this magical sphere is going to grow in intensity in radiant light for several turns. However, if it's on for longer than 30 seconds, basically at the end of the 5th turn that it is on, it will explode. That's the gist. We should need a source of light. Her radiance will repel these demons. And he begins to hold that light aloft, sort of casting a brighter, radiant light on the battlefield. The final remaining abomination has stopped now, and it looks around, and it picks up half of a mangled corpse from one of the others. It dislocates its jaw, and it just starts shoving it whole down into its stomach. And before all of your eyes, as it consumes the corpse of its fallen spawn, its flesh begins to ripple and sort of spread apart and grow, and it goes from being a small creature to a medium-sized creature. It's now thick and burly, about the size of a dwarf. Its arms are very muscular now, as the flesh is sort of knitting itself in layers again and again, strengthening its frame, and it begins to take a more solid combat approach as bone fragments begin to break out of its flesh and form makeshift claws on the ends of its appendages. It is going to take 2 attacks. And it is going to take those attacks against Nail. Oh, dear goodness. That is a nat 20. Nail, it lashes out at you after consuming the half of the little goblin thing that you struck away with your rapier. And Nail is going to take 11 points of slashing damage. And that's just the first attack. The other was a 19. And with that, Nail takes another 6 points of slashing damage for a total of 17. How's Nail doing?
Well, I still have 5, I think. Did I take any damage in the first wave of attacks?
I don't think you did.
I don't think
Okay,
so.
I didn't think so. Okay.
I think it was just me and someone
And
else.
Catalina
me.
and Everard,
We took
yeah.
like 4.
Whew, yikes. Okay. So, this thing has grown bigger. Catalina and Saucy, you begin to run. Well, I'll tell you this. Catalina, are you willing to wait to act at the end of the turn to see if these folks can finish up and join you? Or would you rather continue to strike? Or would you rather take your turn at the top of the turn now and move further deeper in along the way to finding Apollo?
I can wait for you guys if you want me to. I can just have Saucy like sniff the area where Apollo was supposed to be, and just be like, "Sir, like look, like this is the scent you should be following when we go and run off."
All right. So, Nail, you're up next, followed by Everard, and then we'll put Catalina, who is waiting to take her turn at the end.
All right.
Nail, you've seen this thing consume its fallen other aberration. It's lashed out at you with long, gross, rotten claws. It's done quite a number. What do you do?
Well, can I still do sneak attack?
Yes, this thing is sort of in the middle of all of you.
Okay.
And so it's fully prepared to be snuck attacked.
All right. Then with my hand crossbow in one hand and my rapier in the other, I do 2 attacks on it. The one is a dirty 20. The other one is a 14.
Both hit. Give me damage.
Let's see. Crossbow. Is that same as a short bow?
Yes, should be 1d6 of damage, and it's the same to hit. So yeah, same stats.
1d6. That's a 5. And the rapier is 1d8 plus 4. Let's see. D8. That's a 1.
One damage?
6. Yeah, so 6 total.
6 damage total. Okay. You shoot a crossbow bolt into this thing, and it's
Did you
like...
roll your sneak attack?
Oh, yeah. Did you get your sneak attack damage in?
Yeah, one of them was the sneak attack.
Okay, gotcha. So you shoot this thing, and it's your crossbow bolt barely pierces its flesh. Its hide seems a lot thicker now, whereas before, when you shot into the other one, your bolt went clean through all of its sort of like thinly held together material. This thing has been knitted into something stronger. And as you cut into it, you realize that it is a lot heftier than the smaller ones.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't calculate this damage right.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
I think you should be
So
doing
the short bow damage was 1d6, which was 5, plus 4 was 9.
Okay.
And the rapier was 1d8 plus 4, so that's a 5 altogether.
But
So
then your
14.
but your sneak attack should be
2d6, right?
one or two more d6s on top of that.
Yeah, 2d6. So roll 2 more d6.
Is it 2d6 as a level 2 rogue? I think it's still one
Mhm.
until like level 3.
I thought it
Or maybe
started
it's
at 2.
Okay. Yeah,
starts
that's
at
right.
2.
Okay, it starts at 2.
2d6.
Okay.
Okay, I got a 3 on one and a 2 on the other one.
So that's another 5. 19 damage altogether. Okay.
Sorry about that.
That is way different. There was a universe. Nail panics and imagines hitting this thing with all of his might and it doing absolutely nothing. But that's not what happens. You shoot this thing and the bolt sticks into it and it howls. And you take your rapier and you plunge deep into this thing's chest and you feel it pierce something valuable, or several valuable things, and you just sort of scramble a little bit as you pull it out. And this thing collapses in front of all of you. And Nail, you turn and you see that you can just barely see Saucy carrying Catalina out of the firelight down the hill. So you can now choose to follow her if you would like.
Yeah, I'll follow.
So you dash after her as quick as you can, leaving Everard and Tycho and Glemma and Knock Knock over the bodies. Everard, what do you do?
I look at Tycho.
Tycho is holding the radiant sphere, which continues to grow brighter and brighter, and now he's like, ooh, ooh. He's sort of passing it back and forth between his hands. This thing, ooh. He doesn't seem to be ready to shut it off yet.
Okay. I might not be able to, but can I read anything in this guy about his reaction to the insane amount of magical shit that we've been doing?
I think that you assume he's probably very distracted, and this is someone who is somewhat more decorated, more veteran than your former boss, and has probably seen some real weird shit, and just doesn't really react that well. Or this is
But
like,
I guess what I'm Everard knows
Right.
we've committed numerous crimes punishable by death directly in front of the cops.
sure.
So, do I get the sense that he is gonna immediately try,
You know, as former censor antiquarian, that process is a lot more bureaucratic. He's not just going to kill you. He's almost certainly going to very calmly attempt to get you to just surrender to him because he just assumes that you would.
Okay.
Like that's
and-
the level of arrogance you're dealing with.
All right.
And as Nail passes Everard, he says quickly to him, if he says anything, Everard, remind him that he just ate a magic mushroom.
It's true. He is
And
beginning
what he thinks
to feel...
what he thinks he saw may not have been what he saw.
Okay. Yes. Gotcha. 10-4.
Bonus Dad, do you need another inspiration? Because you've earned it.
I'm flush, thank you.
All right.
Okay, so with that in mind, I'm torn. I don't want to let them run off alone, and I don't want to leave everybody in our camp with this moron.
Because he is holding a rapidly escalating.
Yeah, he's holding a
magical
grenade with the
explosive.
pin pulled out. Yeah,
Yes.
but we can put it back in.
He's playing hot potato with himself.
Okay, here's a question. Do I know how to turn the light off?
Yes, you do. You remember, Meatbone does too. You probably see him peeking out of the little window in the wagon. You just gotta knock it twice.
Okay, so I will attempt. Okay, and again, I'm sorry to ask so many questions, right? But
Sure.
what do I understand about the way this thing works? You turn it on, it charges up. If you leave it turned on too long, it explodes,
Yes.
right? If you turn it off, how long do you have to wait before you can turn it on? It's like a once a day thing. Do you just have to let it cool down?
There is a ring of sort of like diamond flecks, like the kind that you would see set in a ring, smaller diamonds. And they form a concentric ring around the structure of this orb, this sphere. And they each have a tiny little light, a little white light. And some of them don't. This is like a power bar. So every time you knock it, you notice one of those lights goes out. So it has a certain number of charges. It can be used immediately again, shut off and then reused. But every
Gotcha.
time you turn it on, it uses a
It
charge.
uses a charge. Okay.
This thing you can tell has 3 charges left.
Okay. Um, I think the smartest thing for me to do is to attempt to grab the sphere and turn it off
Okay.
before this guy can blow us up.
All right.
So that's what I would like to do. Tell me what I need to roll.
We're bonus stat. Yeah, you're good to walk away. We're gonna take a break right after this. If you want to go ahead and step away. Um, Everard is going to have to roll an Arcana check, and
Okay.
I'm gonna call it a DC 12.
Oh boy. So even odds, 10 or higher, and I get this. However, I don't have any dice left that aren't in jail. So let's just 17 plus 2
There it
is
is.
19. There it is.
Yay!
That's who we've been waiting for.
Clunk, clunk, and the whole thing powers down. The heat rises off of it like a radiator, and as Everard decides whether or not to stay here with Tycho or to join his companions and search for Apollo, we are going to take a short bio break, and we will be back in about 5-10 minutes. Okay, y'all. See you soon. Hello and welcome back. We are in the middle of an incredibly tense encounter. Our three precarious postmen, Catalina, Nail, and Everard, have just fought off a frightening gaggle of abominations, seemingly mashed together corpses assembled from various dead entities, all swarming up the hill to attack them, almost as if they had, almost as if Nail had sort of summoned them here. Just like his dream from atop the tower, we now see our heroes having to defend themselves against this swarming horde at the top of the hill where they've made their camp, with the wagon formerly owned by Dib, Halfling Chewer. So, in the Scrabble, Apollo has been taken by some of these nasty beasties and dragged off into the darkness, where 4 Wilhelm screams each separately went off before the fight. And now, Everard, you have successfully doused the arcane flame inside of the radiant sphere held by Tycho Harbavian, the censor of the Center Antiquarian. What do you do?
I head over to the wagon, and I look inside at Meatbone,
Yes.
and I point at Tycho, and I say, "If he causes any trouble, amputate him at the waist." And then I take the arcane light with me, and I follow after Nail and Saucy and Catalina.
Oh boy! Do you think he'll survive?
Only if he causes trouble, Meatbone.
Define trouble!
If he attacks or attempts to arrest any of you, or tries to break any of our shit.
Aye, aye, Captain! Oh, I hope he tries to break something.
And then I look at Glimma and Knock Knock. And I say, I point at Meatbone, and I say, if he tries to amputate him at the waist and he hasn't caused any trouble, knock his dumb ass out.
Glemma looks at Knock Knock. Knock Knock just says, knock knock.
And then I don't have time for anything else. It's already probably too much.
That's fair. And Everard, you
I just cross my fingers and hope.
You hustle after him.
As he kind of catches up with Nail, Nail says, that guy tries to use any of that other magic and doesn't know any better how to use it than he did that first one. He's liable to use it on himself.
One can only hope.
So Catalina, it's now your turn as you are astride Saucy. You can tell that your companions are beginning to hoof it behind you, but you're going to be able to easily outpace them. Do you choose to run ahead to try and catch up with Apollo and his captors, or do you prefer to stay behind to rally with the rest of your group?
I wanna make sure that we can catch up to Apollo to mitigate as many issues as he will have later on being captured. But at the same time, I feel like if I run off into the darkness, there's only so much dark vision can do for me before I am absolutely lost and separated from my companions. So I think I'll wait. If I don't wait, I'm gonna circle back to pick up Everard if he's not running fast enough, and just Legolas and Gimli it, where I throw him on the back and it's like, we're going. I'm not waiting for you to walk.
I mean, I have a movement speed of 25, so everyone here is faster than me.
Yeah. Everard, do you choose to fail the grappling check to allow yourself
Yeah,
to
I mean, I will allow myself to be yeeted onto the horse.
All right.
I mean, the dog. The horse dog.
I think that Saucy is probably beefy enough to carry Catalina, Everard, and Nail at the same time. if Nail wants to join the ride.
Does Niall mind being grabbed by the back of his shirt and thrown onto Saucy? I grab them in each hand,
Just-
like I run and I.
Let's go.
I think Nail lands quite a bit more gracefully than Everard does. Everard's about chest deep in Saucy's fur.
Yeah, I think Everard is chest deep in Saucy's fur, sitting backwards, and the hat falls down over his eyes. He just grabs some tufts of fur and holds on for dear life, and you can just hear him going like,
All right.
shrieking into the night as we bump along.
Catalina, how do you command Saucy on?
I think we're just like. It's very much where I want Saucy to be looking for Apollo, or like at least tracking that scent as best as possible. So I just go Sir, and urge him forward.
Yeah. Do you want to give me a D20 roll and then add? Well, actually, he'll, because it's a smell-based thing. He has advantage, so roll 2, and then his.
Do I have to roll 2 if I got a nat 20?
No. I mean, unless you want to try for double nat 20s.
That one was an 18 on the die. Never mind.
Boo, 18
So close.
suck. Nat 20, yes. Saucy immediately understands where Apollo is taken and begins to trail because you don't know this, but Saucy can smell. There's the greasy smudge of decay and rot and blackened blood smeared along the ground that these things have left in their wake, and it's very easy for Saucy to follow. The three of you charge in down the hill, and you break into the edge of the crick. You're now back into the woods slightly as you enter into a clearing, the same clearing where you had previously made camp. And being dragged back into the ruins where you saw the mural, and at the very far back, the pool of acid, the well of acid, Apollo is being pulled by about 4 of these little aberrations that are just... And standing in the doorway of that ruin is a massive 15-foot tall lurching abomination. It's got like 5 twisted arms, all just mishmashes of different creatures and things, just an undead chimera of parts that have been assimilated and rebound for the sole purpose of making something hunger and deadly. And this 15-foot tall, massive, black, bleeding creature reaches down. Its mouth begins to open up, and its jaw drops down to its belly button. And it picks up Apollo and just shoves him head first into its gullet. And it looks at the 3 of you on Saucy's back. And we will keep the initiative order as Catalina, you face off against 4 of these little ones and one that is at least twice as big as the last big one that attacked Nail. So, Catalina, what do you do?
I think my spear is still the best bet, just because I can get more reach with it, and it does more damage. So I'm gonna go, and I only have 1 attack now because I already used my action surge, and try to kill one of these guys. That was not even in the chart. There we go. Okay. Math. That is a 23 to hit.
Hits. You charge Saucy into the clearing, and you spear one of these things on the end of your old gold spear, and pulling the spear back, you don't even lift this thing up. The spear just cuts through this thing's shoulder as you pull it up, slicing out and sizzling the flesh. And you see as it sizzles and pops, it actually spits a little bit of gold glitter from the wound.
Oh, God. Question: did any of you guys take any of the rocks in here?
Nope.
Did Apollo take a rock?
Couldn't tell you. Can we see where the wall is from here?
No, it's behind this massive creature that is taking up the entirety of this door frame.
I guess we're just gonna keep hitting until we figure out what happened.
So, Catalina, you've killed one of the 4 little ones. There are 3 little ones left in front of the big one. Nail, you're up. You're on the back of Saucy. You're looking sort of down at the 3 little ones, the big one behind it that has its stomach is distended, sort of in this grotesque pregnancy-like belly that you know is just full of Apollo getting slowly digested. Oh, and you are muted, bonus dad.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So I take a shot at one of the little ones with my crossbow.
Give it to me.
All right. That's a 21, 15 on the die.
Hits.
So that's a D6 plus 4. Oh, that we don't need damage on this, right? It just
Nah,
kills.
these guys
Okay.
just pop like bubbles.
Okay.
Yeah, you hit this thing, and it's almost like there's a little pocket of gore, maybe like a recent meal that just kind of like pops out of this thing like an overripe zit. Yeah, I've been practicing my descriptions. Anything else from Nail?
He reloads his crossbow.
All right. Staying on the back of Saucy, Everard, you are up as Saucy comes to a stuttering halt after Catalina spears and rips through one of the little ones. You see another one kind of pop as it gets pierced by Nail's hand crossbow. What do you do as your hat tilts back and suddenly reveals this gory scene?
Yeah, so I think
We got 2 little ones standing in front of the big one.
I think he's, as he repositions himself, going to attempt to chill touch one of the little ones, since everyone seems to be trying to knock them off the board. Ooh, boy. 17 plus 4 is 21 to hit.
That's another dead one.
Once again, his eyes go black.
Shadows block the warning. Shadows freeze the pulse of life.
And that's exactly what this does. Whatever false mockery of life this thing possesses is squeezed out of it by a shadowy hand that just rends the flesh away from whatever bones are
the ghostly
holding it
hand
together.
appears like the light of Silver Sun condensed into a clawed hand. as it
Oh,
just grasps.
yeah. And you see a white hot handprint burned into the flesh as it dissipates. There's one little guy left, and he looks at his dead companions, starts scooping up what's left of them and shoving it into his mouth. And he begins to grow as his muscles begin to knit over themselves in ever-expanding layers. And he leaps at Saucy,
He has
who
disadvantage.
has protection from good and evil.
Because I have not lost concentration.
So that's a miss, and that's a miss. It takes 2 swipes with massive claws, the length of, Saucy's leg almost. And Saucy's fur almost seems like it's coated in an invisible shield as the claws seem to glance off and away. That is... Oh, the big one. The big one starts to sort of like take its arms and compress its stomach, almost like it's trying to mash whatever's inside, like a form of digestion. And I have Apollo's hit points here. So Apollo has 20 hit points. So Apollo will go down if they reach 0, and if they go down inside of the belly of this thing, the next hit will be 2 death saves failed. So is that right? Is every death save?
Yeah, any melee
is 2?
attack on an incapacitated creature is counted as critical, and each hit that each time a creature that is incapacitated at 0 hit points takes damage, it fails a death save. If the hit's critical, it fails 2.
Okay, so every point of damage that Apollo takes after they get reduced to 0 is a failed death save.
Well, yeah, and it's not every single point, but it's like every
Every
instance
hit,
of damage fails a death save. But if the instance is from a critical hit, which if it's a melee attack, which this would be, is considered critical, then it's 2.
Yeah, these are super straightforward, easy rules, folks. Apollo takes 10 points of damage as this thing begins to mash its stomach in an attempt to literally break Apollo up inside of itself, make it easier for digestion. So Apollo is at half health, which brings us up to Catalina. Catalina, you are first to act. What do you do?
So I am going to take a chance, and I am going to throw my spear at the bigger one.
Aim
further
high.
range, hopefully do further damage. And it's not it's within like 60 feet of me, right?
Yeah, you're close enough that you can chuck a spear right into this thing's face.
All right, awesome.
So you have sort of the soldier that ate its friends that's now confronting Saucy, and you have the tyrant behind him trying to digest Apollo, and you're trying to hit which one?
The huge one that has Apollo in it.
The tyrant, got it.
I'm trying to do math. That's a 26 to hit.
Hits.
And that is only 7 damage.
7 damage is still good damage. You throw your spear. Yeah?
Yeah, I'm gonna throw my spear.
It pierces this thing right around where its collarbone would be, and it just seems to like hiss and dig itself deeper into this creature. It did not like that, but it does not seem overly hurt. Anything else from Catalina before it is Nail's turn?
I think I am going to... This might be stupid. I'm going to get off of Saucy. Just so I can get closer to the big guy.
Sure. You get off Saucy. You will take an attack of opportunity from the soldier.
What if I don't move outside of the range? What if I just get off of Saucy?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right, awesome.
Okay. Up next, Nail. After that, Everard. Nail.
Okay, if I dismount, am I within melee range of the soldier?
Yes, you are.
All right, then I'm going to dismount and take a sneak attack.
Do it.
All right, let's see. Both of these are going to be rapier attacks. One is a 20, dirty 20. The other one is a 17.
Hit.
So let's see. I need 2d8. I need, let's see.
And 2d6 for your sneak
and
attack.
2d6s plus 4. D8 plus 4. Let's see. Okay, one of the I got 7 and hang on. 7 and 4 is 11 on one, and let's see, 5, 9, and 3 is 12 on the other one.
Oh yeah, that'll do it. What does it look like as Nail jumps off Saucy's back and then promptly swicker swacks this thing to death?
He jumps off Saucy's back and immediately, with his rapier, twice, real quickly, zip, right through the throat here, zip, right through the right eye.
And you see this thing. At first, it doesn't notice that it's been hit, and then just black, gunky, chunky blood begins to seep out of the hole in its neck and the corners of its mouth, and then its eye just as it falls dead in front of you. And you are left now confronting the tyrant attempting to digest Apollo. As anything left from Nail?
How close is Nail to the monster that's still standing?
I'd say about 20, 30 feet away.
Okay.
You could run up to it this turn and get in melee with it if you wanted, or you can wait.
Yeah, I'll approach and get into melee with it.
Okay, you're still pretty banged up, right? Nail's pretty hurt.
Maybe let me have second thoughts on that. Yeah, because I'm pretty low on hit points.
I don't want to kill you.
I don't want to. Yeah, me too.
All right. So yeah, Nail. I think it's best if Nail stands back a little bit. Everard, you are atop Saucy. What do you do?
All right, I hop off of Saucy, and I am once again. My eyes go black. I'm going to say,
Darkened skies, no hope, no hope. Now I lose the witching bolt.
and I'm going to cast Witch Bolt. My concentration is broken on whatever that other thing is. Protection from good and evil on Saucy, but I feel
Okay.
like we just need to deal damage to this guy as much as we can.
Well, that
and
was
that's the biggest.
That
hit
was
I
a
have.
scroll. I don't think you need to have concentration.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well then, great. Then I'm gonna hit this guy with Witch Bolt, and hope for the best. That's not gonna do it. That is 10.
That hits.
Okay, 10 to hit hits. All right.
It has an AC of 10. It's a big thing stuck in a stone portico door. It's not going anywhere. It is the literal broadside of a ruin.
Ooh, that's max damage. That is 12.
12. Awesome. Yeah.
As this kind of like black lightning zaps out of his fingers at this creature. And he continues to maintain the spell and can keep dropping damage. And it does mean I have to be within 30 feet of the creature. So
Okay. 19 altogether, right? From the spear and the witch bolt. So this thing is starting to veins are starting to burst across the outside flesh of this giant abomination, and you can see that it's starting to ooze life force, and it is beginning to get angrier. As no one is in melee yet, it is going to continue to attempt to digest Apollo. That is 8 points of damage as this thing keeps punching itself in the stomach, distending its own inner sacs and organs in an attempt to forcibly crush Apollo to death. Apollo has 2 hit points left. With a third sort of long snake tail-like appendage, it's going to whip out at Saucy. It hits despite the protection, and Saucy is sort of whipped across the face, takes 6 points of slashing damage and decides to back up a little bit as we go to Catalina.
Catalina is very upset that somebody just hit her dog. She did not appreciate that.
Wick,
and
wick,
I'm gonna
wick.
move within melee, so I'm probably gonna get like 10 feet, like up.
Yeah.
And then I am going to attack with the old gold thread.
Ooh, yeah. And
Because you said this thing bleeds.
as you unwind your old gold thread, does anyone notice anything different about it? Has it taken on a new form or look, appearance?
When it was rolled up, you can see that it looks a little bit like frayed and messy, and it looks kind of weird. But as I unroll it, you kind of notice that they're not frayed as in like soft thread that bends. They're like very, very sharp and like at a specific angle where it's like this was on purpose. This is an enhanced weapon and not just like, oh yeah, a regular fraying thread. So I feel like she pulls it out, and I would describe it like the little things that stick out of it, kind of like bee stingers, where it's mostly straight and then it has like a weird little hook at the end.
Ooh. Like
So
little
it's like
Velcro hooks, like ugh.
Yeah.
Whew.
And now to anything that bleeds, it does an extra d4 of damage.
All right, so
And you said it bleeds, so
this thing bleeds. Human blood? But it bleeds.
exactly. And that is going to be just enough. That's going to be an 11 to hit.
Hits.
Awesome. That's two fours. Perfect. So that's a 13.
13 damage. Oof. Big hit as you whip this thing. Your whip, as it lashes, it almost sticks into this thing's flesh, those little thorny hooks. And then when you reel back to pull, it peels whole chunks and slices away from this thing. And as you peel away some of this outer flesh, the thinner flesh of its stomach lining is revealed, and you can see Apollo's hand pressed up, trying to force its way out. You can just barely see your friend in there. Will you be there in time to save him? Nail, you're up next. Can you save Apollo?
Okay. Nail loads up his crossbow and fires a bolt at this monster. And that is a 15 plus 6 is 21.
Hits.
And it's a D8 plus 4.
And you get sneak attack. It is in melee with Catalina.
Ah, okay. All right. Then that's a 7 plus 6, which, no, I'm sorry. That's a 7 plus 4 is 11 plus 6 is 17.
Ooh.
17.
Y'all are just keep outdoing each other. I love it.
That is a with a second crossbow bolt. That is let's see. Let's see. Okay, yeah. Second crossbow bolt. That is 9 plus 6 is 15. And we will do another D8 plus 4 plus 6. Okay, so it'll be plus 10. And that is 12 more damage.
Whoo! Pew, pew. You punch through this thing, and it is literally on its last legs. It has a negligible amount of hit points left. As Everard, it is your turn.
Oh boy.
This thing is falling apart. All of its vestigial limbs and tentacles and things that are slipping off of it and falling onto the ground immediately begin to slough off the flesh, and just like half splintered bone fragments lie in these pools of gore all around it. It is dying, but it could use a little help. What does Everard do?
And so Everard, as his eyes remain black, just focuses and bears down, hoping against hope that he can put enough energy into this continuing spell. He's going to use his action to just continue to deal damage with Witch Bolt. Oh, that's only a 2.
It only has 2 hit points.
Oh!
Hey.
It's exactly what you needed.
Yes,
All right. Yeah. Tell me how you do this.
I think he's basically got this like this energy lashing out at the creature, and I think he just builds up a ball of it towards the center, towards his side of the arc, and just slowly pushes it down the pathway
pipe
that is sort of connected between the two of them. And then as it just like hits the creature, I think it's just like melting and burning his flesh away. And hopefully revealing Apollo
like
his hands trying to push out.
Like a rotting placenta. The inner workings of this creature begin to fragment, and you see Apollo's hand push through that last rubbery membrane of flesh, and it splits open, and he spills out just amidst a soup of half-digested, slowly fermenting meat and body parts. Apollo has been saved, but is he really okay? We'll find out on next episode of The Beast Wilds, The Way Forward. Awesome. Thank you so much for playing. I hope everyone had fun. We're gonna wrap it here for tonight. We'll pick it up right there as Apollo emerges from the effluvia of this horrific undead apparition. So I'd like you all to introduce yourselves in reverse order, and
Do we have to roll for days?
yes, we do have to.
Sorry.
No.
Okay.
So my policy going forward, if we're ever down a member, I would like to run with 3. If we're ever down more than if we're ever at half, I think we'll call it. But we'll just say that every one of these little side adventures where we're down a person will just be a single day of your time.
Okay. Gotcha.
With maybe some instances of consequence where you add a day or such. This whole chase happened over the course of one travel day. So we are at 14 days, by my reckoning. Scrivener, is that correct?
I was starting session 6 on the 14th day. So if
On the
this
14th
session,
day. So
yeah,
this
like
has been the 14th day.
Yes, right. So yeah, my notes say end of session 5 was on the 13th day. We rolled a 1 last time, putting this on the 14th day.
Yeah, so you have been at travel for 14 days and no longer.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So to all of my audience, if anyone's still watching, I love you very much. Thank you for your time and attention. I really appreciate it. Thank you for being silly with us on the internet. I have been Beast. I have been your Dungeon Master. You can find me on Bonus Mom's Tavern. I have a Beast Wilds campaign channel where you can come and chat with me and other Beast Wildlings. And I bounce around some other channels. Tavern Tunes is one of my favorite. Love sharing music with you folks. But come on down. We have a great time. If you had a good time here, you'll have a great time there. So I have been Beast. Thank you so much for watching. And in reverse order, Pixel, tell us who you are, who you played, and if you'd like to be found on the internet.
Hey gang, my name is Pixel. I played Everard Elder Tingle, Halfling Reborn, Shadow Sorcerer, captain of this little crew, apparently. And yeah, you can find me on the internet at twitch.tv/hammerandpixel, where I stream games. You can also find me in a lot of places on the internet. I just released some music. That was a lot of fun. My solo EP called The Sin You Can Live With EP came out under the same name, Hammer and Pixel. You can find that on Spotify, Apple Music, iTunes, Bandcamp, yada, 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 YouTube, so on and so forth. All the places. Check the link tree if you really want to find that stuff. And you can also find me here at Ages of Einor. Soon we will be starting up our sci-fi game in a few weeks. So we've got that coming. It's going to be a lot of fun. And you can also see me from time to time here doing world building streams and things like that. Thank you all for watching. And that's it for me.
We might actually have some more world building streams coming up. We'll as that develops, we'll give you more details. Synovia, thank you so much for playing. Please tell us who you are, who you played, and if you'd like to be found on the internet.
Yes. I am Synovia. Today I played Catalina, a half-orc fighter with obvious mommy issues and a love for animals. You can find me on the internet at flannel. I read, I write, I wear flannels in the summer. So.
Wow, what a trooper. Thank you, Synovia. Our dear Ace was not here to reprise their role as Apollo, so I have made a hack job of it by putting him inside of a monster. We'll get to find out their reaction to that next episode, so you should tune in. But you can find Ace on Bonus Mom's Tavern, and they are a wonderful DM, and I think they've got some things cooking up too that they would love to tell you about. But you'll have to come back in 2 weeks to hear it from the horse's mouth. Bonus Dad, please take it away.
I'm bonus Dad. You can, let's see, I played Nail, who is a Greyhawk Valley High Elf rogue, and it was a wonderful set tonight. I enjoyed the game.
Amazing.
And
can we find you on the internet?
If you want to find me on the internet,
if you want to find me on the internet, pass your perception check. No, I'm just kidding.
That's right. Pass it. Let me have a perception roll. No, that's
oh, that's bad.
Anyway, okay. Bonus Mom 70. Look for Bonus Mom 70 on TikTok, and she starts anywhere between 9 and 10 a.m. Monday through Friday, and I come in there about 10:30, somewhere between 10:30 and 11, sing a couple of songs, read some poetry, read an Uncle Wiggily story, and other than that, we've got some stuff under Bonus. Is it Bonus Mom's Tavern, Pixel?
Yes.
On YouTube.
No, YouTube is also Bonus Mom 70.
Oh, is it?
Bonus Mom 70 on YouTube. Bonus Mom's Tavern on podcast, wherever you listen to podcasts. And you're appreciate you tuning in to listen. It's a lot of fun, and thanks, Beast. Appreciate it.
Oh, my pleasure. Sincerely. I love putting these funny little things together and pretending to be idiots. That's right. I'm pretending. Thank you so much. Please come back in 2 weeks for session 7. Hopefully we have a full cast and we find out what happens, or we know what happens. We'll find out their reaction when Apollo emerges to greet the rest of their saviors. But bye-bye for now, everyone. Take care.
Bye-bye.